Hello and welcome back to our new episode of Car Mechanics Simulator 2021. And here, let's see what's waiting for us on this day. So, where are we? We have some cash, we have experience points, we still need to get to the next level. Let's see what jobs can we take on today. Oh yes, this is a nice car. Let's take this on. But this is a small job, so let's see what else. Yeah, we can take this on as well. And since old junk. Since no more jobs available. Okay, well then nothing else left. Let's see what's on the list. Oh, whole list. Long one. Let's do the quick job first. Some suspension problems. Should be. Inner tie rod, steering rack. Okay. Yeah. Good few bits and pieces, but let's just bring it in and start on it. So, lift it up a little bit. And let's open the front. Probably it's empty. Yes, exactly. Engine in the back. But still. Just looking at it, nothing fancy. Oh yeah, engine cover. Let's remove this. I think I've never done a car like this before. So I want to see it. Of course, we cannot really see it because it's deep down there. Well, let's get into it. Car battery. Ah, that's why. Okay, this makes sense. It's an electric car. Okay, and there's, yeah, that's true. There's a few parts need changing. Okay, steering rack. Oh god, it's terrible. The whole lot is in pretty bad condition. So, now we're gonna focus on the suspension, do the bits what are on the list, but once we will get an electric car and we will get a full tutorial on electric cars. Now, for start, wanna jump level, so let's do a complete examination quickly, just to get some experience points. Yeah, we need a lot of experience points, even to, for example, to speed up this examination process. With those points we can buy additional skills, which also can include to make these tests faster. Battery pack, engine. Well, engine, it's an electric motor, but yes, it's an engine, if we look at it that way. Generally it's in good condition, except those few parts which are already highlighted in red. Obviously this car is missing exhaust and things related to a combustion engine, but that's okay for us now. Okay, next set of tests. What can we do there? Yeah, no compression, no fuel system. We can do the tires, it will give us 4 experience points. Not that we need them, but first we practice. Real life, same thing. Just have a look, have an idea, and have a strong base of comparison where you know what you do, where you know how it should look, and you get experience by checking as many things out as possible as time allows you. And next time when you will look at something, you will know straight away if it's good or bad. Should be like that or not. Okay, and let's just run a quick diagnostic test. Computer diagnostics. See what's in there. Okay, so nothing serious. Let's start on the suspension. Here, well, first of all, we're gonna need to remove the wheel, otherwise you will not be able to get to the main bolt of the drive shaft. Okay, and there's our first part need replacing, the rear drive axle, and here's the main bolt holding it together. Okay, well, in real life most of the time you're gonna have to pop out the top or bottom ball joint, and this whole wheel hub and everything has to be flipped out to a side or up or down. But here, of course, it's a little bit easier and faster, which is not a problem now, as we want to make a quick buck and get experience points to advance with our workshop. But still, to do something fast shouldn't stop you from doing it right. So if you want to do it fast, but make sure every time you do it right. If you want to run a successful business at some point, or you already are, definitely do not let anything to go against quality. Long term, that is the best investment you can do to keep up the quality. So, inner tie rod for the bin. Yeah, the rack also, but we need to dismantle the other side. First we need the wheel off to have access properly to the track rod end, or outer track rod, whichever way you want to call it, it's correct either way. Tie rod. Okay, and now the inner tie rod, and we got to the rack. Yeah, from underneath, great. Let's jump out, lift the car. There it is. And let's remove that. Okay, check on our list, is there anything else left? Inner tie rod, steering rack, drive axle, rear spring, rubber bushing. Okay, which one? Where is that? We should have a rubber bushing in not such a great condition. Would it be in the back or the front, or where is it? Just visually inspecting quickly. The bushings, ah, there it is. Look at that. It, even if it's just a simulation, it does show that it's not in good condition. Of course, you cannot take it out like this. You have to remove the whole lower suspension arm, which of course it's held by the shock absorber, so remove that first, then remove the suspension arm, and then in real life you can bring this whole lot to a shop press and just press it out. In some cars you can do that on the vehicle itself. Now let's just strip the rear strut first, shock absorber, springs, everything, and then we can just get the parts we need, as this is not being replaced as one piece, it's a collection of parts. So we need one of these, okay, one of this, and this, and this. This doesn't need replacing. That is interesting. It was quite rusty, but then okay. Steering rack, rear spring. Do we have the right one? The correct one? Ah, hold on. We took off the other side as well because of the lower suspension arm. So that means we have another one which has the faulty part. Okay, now we should have all that. Not this one, this one. And there is our spring. Yes, add it to the shopping list. Get our tablet and let's go shopping. Oil filter, that's from yesterday. Okay, there we go. One piece of this. Steering rack, one piece of this. Inner tie rod, one of this. Rear drive axle or dry shaft. Yeah, and the spring. Okay. I guess if we can put together a little bit of cash, we will extend our workshop here behind this door. We can get another workshop with some nice tools and workbenches where we can start and fix parts, overhaul parts, recondition them, and we don't have to buy them new. With this we can save a lot of money. So there we go. And let's refit everything. Let's start with the steering rack. Okay. And then inner tie rods. Yeah, but we have access from the bottom, so we can do that from underneath the car. Okay, go back to the other side, finish there as well. And then there we go. Yeah, we can do the wheels as well, and then front is finished. Okay, and let's jump to the other side. Fit the other wheel as well. And there we go, front is ready. So let's go to the back one. Okay, let's just jump onto the suspension, fitting mode. Put in the drive axle. Okay. And there we go with the new parts. One bolt, next one, and there we go. Shock absorber, and there we go. And we can put on this wheel for this side. Yep. And then we can go on to the other side, get our shock absorber fitted. And there we go. I guess we are ready. Yes and yes. Okay, now again, lower the car, bring it out yourself, give it back to the customer outside the workshop. Ah, come on, seriously. I mixed up the wheels again. These front and rear wheels with different sizes, they're just killing me all the time. So what is this? This was off. We definitely need to take this one off, as this is a front wheel. Even this car has different sizes, front and back. I always forget to check, and then I have to just go around and refit that again. This looks like a front wheel. This looks a little bit bigger. So then let's remove this, and hopefully we got the right one. If not, we get the other one, the other side as well. And now let's just refit, and now let's check the sizes. So 205, 205. Okay, then we have two front ones. Then it's gonna be the other side. Fit one back anyway. I always screw this up, but that's life. Nobody's perfect, and when I'm in a rush, forget to check tires, especially that this one looks a pretty regular car. On fancy sports cars, it's obvious that it's different, you have to check it, but I wouldn't even imagine that, let's say this would have different, 235, 205, so 205 is for the front, and it's just a little bit of difference, but of course it's not good if you don't put it right. It will drive, it will work, but it's not safe and it's not good to have different tires on the same axle. Oh, no, we're not removing, we're fitting. And there we go. Okay, now we should be okay. Let's refit this engine cover. Close it. Close the front. Lower the car. And drive it out. Okay, it's out. We can give it back to the customer. Of course, we're not gonna do all the time this drive out scenario, but for now it's still okay to do it properly, to get used to it. Okay, well, I don't know if I want that piece of junk just yet. What is this one? Just the quick one. Let's top up some fluids, I guess. Let's see. Brake, coolant. Yeah, just refill everything. Let's do this quickly. It's like a 2-minute job. Okay. Take off the cap and refill brake fluid. Watch the level, it should be at the max. I always do the top side of the max, that's okay. And then move on to what was there? Coolant, power steering, washer, so basically everything. Okay, then let's do the coolant. And in case you don't know which one's coolant, which one is washer, then you should always look for the bigger pipes. The coolant always has these bigger pipes. Now on this simulation is not visible, but it has some bigger pipes connecting rather with the radiator or with the engine, while the washer usually it only has a pretty small, narrow, like about 6 millimeter, maybe 8, small pipe hose which runs up to the windscreen washer nozzles. So it's a little bit different, it doesn't connect these bigger pipes. Okay, and power steering. This one most of the time you can read it off the cap, and that's the other thing. The washer always has this kind of cap and it has the sign on it if you look closely, while the radiator it has this temperature gauge kind of sign on it. Might not be red, but still usually it has it in some form on it. Okay, done. Make a quick few bucks and there we go. Now let's take that piece of junk in. Okay, that's gonna be a bigger job that will kind of fill the day for sure. Real life might even be more than one day. Let's see. Okay, what's to be done on it? Alternator, belt tensioner, cam gear. Oh yes, you have to open the whole engine. That's a full day job minimum. Clutch release bearing, everything. That's a 2-day job at least. Okay, or a proper full day, long day job. Okay, well, I guess let's run our tests, get our points first. We really need to jump level. Need to expand fast, build up as fast as possible on experience points, levels and everything, so we can upgrade our workshop. Honestly, from real life experience, it makes a huge difference to have a nice and clean presentable workshop. Customers will be looking at you and talking to you completely differently. They're gonna appreciate that you put in the effort to clean it up and upgrade it. So I'm really trying to get that as fast as possible, and there we go, we're on level 4. Let's continue. Let's continue our tests anyway. Okay, exhausts and drive shaft, rear wheel drive car. Okay, suspension, good old rear axle suspension. Okay, and then the two sides. Okay, and we have a fuel tank, fuel pump problem as well. Okay, now that's done. Let's jump into some engine tests. Okay, engine cannot be started, of course, with the faulty fuel pump, it's obvious. But at least we already know about that, since it should be on our list, I expect. Even if we got the whole complete list, so we wouldn't need to run all these tests. But now we push it for the experience and for the experience points in this particular case in the simulation, in the game. We have a relay fault as well, even 2. That's okay. Nah. Compression, you must be able, not necessarily to start, actually not even to start, but to crank the engine. For fuel pump and fuel system tests, the same. Okay, let's just drain the coolant before we forget and remove the radiator, letting it all to leak out and then getting penalized for that. Don't want to pay the extra buck if I don't have to. And now, oh my god, there's a lot wrong here. Yeah, we need another bear to remove first. Then an alternator. Usually it has 2 or 3 bolts, 2 on the top or maybe 1 on the bottom as well. This particular type is like this. Okay, next belt. Water pump. Yeah, everything is in pretty bad condition, so need a few things to replace. Starter. Yeah, okay, we can do it from the top, that's great. Otherwise we would need to leave the car and try to get to it from the bottom, like for example to remove the air filter, it's from under the car. It won't allow you to do it from the top. Some cars have very bad access from one side or the other. This is actually simulating that. Let's go to a fuel filter, find it here and just replace that, or at least remove it for now. Okay, and now what was there? Camshaft, alternator we have, tensioner have, clutch and everything. Oh god. Fuel filter, fuel pump, roller, ignition wire, soil filter, radiator, relay, type A, type B, belt, spark plugs, timing belt, water pump, the whole lot, all charade. Okay, then I guess we don't really have a choice. Start removing ignition wires. Yeah, they need replacing anyway. Spark plugs as well. At least here all of them are in bad condition, but usually if you change one or change a few, change them all. It's anyway a service item, so you need to replace them regularly. Okay, just a little bit of frost remover. And there we go. Okay. Ah, not the camshaft. Camshaft gear. What am I reading here? Cam gear. Okay, I just got confused there. Let's put back the top. We won't need that. I'm too superficial in reading the list. But anyway, never hurts checking. Make sure when you put this back, if you have to remove it really, then use a new gasket, or at least put some gasket sealant, but preferably, oh god, not like that. Okay, back to removing, not fitting. So use a gasket sealant, or preferably a new gasket, because otherwise you're gonna end up with oil leaks, what you definitely don't want. Timing belt as well. Everything is in bad condition. Cam gear, there we go. Okay, now let us jump back to the fuel tank and remove the fuel pump. It's pretty much in the back, so you might have access from the trunk, or I don't know if this is accessible from underneath the rear seat, but anyway, in this simulation game we can easily jump to it and remove it. Now let's get to the parts accessible only from underneath. Get an oil pan and drain the oil. Drain, and there it comes. Okay, yes, and go home please. Okay, and now the filter, and there it is. Okay, let's have a clear view at least, and there we go. Now we can get onto the drive shaft. A few bolts at the back. Usually it is 4 actually. Fancier cars sometimes you have 6. And there's a rusty one. And so there we go. Okay. Now gearbox. Oh, still removing. Okay. Nice automatic gearbox. Actually all the cars come with automatic in this game, but I think you can change that on settings, so once we will do a manual one as well. Okay, remove the clutch. I have a few pieces to replace here as well. When you do a clutch as well, it's advised to do the whole set instead of just a clutch disc or just a clutch release bearing, because it's a big job and you don't want one or the other failing in some amount of time. Okay, let's get our parts list. Actually, let's go back to our parts list and delete everything what's on it. Now go back and mark the parts. We need plate, release bearing, oil filter, fuel pump, cam gear, timing belt, tensioner, radiator, spark plugs, pump wires, fuel pump, starter, water pump, what else? Oh my god. Belt, alternator, another belt, roller. And that's everything what's left from the previous car. Okay. Actually, we have a case here. Let's open that. We can get some extra points in it or something. That's okay. That never hurts to get some cash. Another case. That's good. Where is the new one? There we go. Open that again. And let's do 2 and 3. Oh yeah. Scrap parts bonus, experience bonus. That's good. Okay, collect. And let's get back to our shopping now. Clutch plate. Okay, it's gonna be quite a pricey repair as it needs a lot of parts and some of them quite expensive, but we have some cash at hand, so we should cover. That's why you should never spend all your money, because you won't afford to fix the next car. Always have some spare cash before you upgrade, or yes, that's an electronics shop. Electrical wires as well. Fuel filter, hey. We're not back in the shop, okay, sorry. Fuel filter, okay. Starter, that's electrical as well. Water pump. Belt. One of them. Another one. Roller. And there we go. Okay. Fitting mode. Okay, so we fit the clutch plate. There's the new one. Well, in this case we're just gonna put back the old pressure plate, but usually I wouldn't use that again unless it's a really budget thing. And on some cars it's not that much more expensive to do it properly. Sometimes actually it is. And then release bearing. This one definitely should go new. And the gearbox. Okay. One more bolt here. And there we go. Now, drive shaft and the rear end of the engine is done. And let's just go back and fit the oil filter, because that is only accessible from underneath. Starter, can we do that from underneath? Yes, we can. Oh, we didn't buy this. Actually we didn't go on to the electrical shop. Now let's do that quickly. Go on to electronics and ignition wires. We need a set. Spark plug, set of 4. Starter, 1 piece. Alternator, 1 piece, and I guess we're done. Fuel pump, we already have that. Okay, so let's go back and fit the starter. There we go, there's the new one. And actually, let's jump to the back and fit the fuel pump. Okay, so I guess that we are done underneath the car. Let's lower it and finish on the top. How are we getting on? Clutch. Okay, we will do the front end, and then relays we will do in a second. And there we go. Okay, let's do engine bits. Cam gear. There we go. Let's put the belt on. Tensioner. And then when we get our second workshop with the workbenches, we can start fixing some of these parts. Okay, timing cover, crankshaft pulley, and okay, where is a good spot to have a clear view? There we go. Put on the water pump. How much better it looks with new parts. And then the alternator. There we go. Belt with an idler roller and another belt. There we go. And front end of the engine is ready. Okay, let's do the radiator. We will fill that later. And we can do the fuel filter back here. It's good because we can just fly around the engine and have a nice clear view. Let's do the spark plugs. Yeah, another one. And 3 and 4 and ignition leads. There we go. And that is done. Okay. So relays we still have left, and that's the only thing we have left. And oil and change and refill. Okay. Let's refill the radiator. With this, basically, we have done the coolant change because we drained it at the beginning. Now we refilled it with new one. Okay, we should be close to our level, and that will do. Let's change power steering fluid, but we need to drain first. This one usually you change very rarely, but sometimes doesn't hurt to get some new fluid in there, especially if you look at it, take a little bit of a sample, and it should be red usually. In some cars you have a special mineral one which is green, but if it's getting very dirty and very dark, it might make sense to change the power steering fluid. This one just a top up for windscreen washer. This one you use it all the time, so it's kind of getting automatically replaced because you're running out of it, and then you just refill. And then the brakes, there we go. Here as well, we drain first. Okay. And then let's just fill. Remove the cap, fill the brake fluid. And there we go. And at the beginning, we have drained the engine oil. We've changed the filter. Now we just need to refill the engine oil, and that is oil change done as well. Usually, if you check how much do you need for an engine, what quantity, then you can approximately put the quantity and you're done. Anyway, always check the level on the dipstick. There you go, close to the max. That should do. Or we can add just a tiny bit more to make sure that you're close to the level. Yeah, it's already overfilled, it spills out. And then you're at the max, exactly. Okay, so we have 2 relays left. Where is the relay box on this one? Somewhere in the... There we go, fuse box and relay box. Now, that is one of them, what we need. That's good. That's another one, type B. And that's good. And that's good on C-type. They are good. Okay. That will do. Let's just throw it into the parts list. Go back to the electronics shop. We are exactly there. Relay type A by 1. Relay type B by 1. Okay, let's just take our shopping list and delete everything, so it's not in the way on the next car. And there we go, one relay, another relay, fuse box cover, and we should be done. Let's see, everything done here, everything done here, that's done, and that's done, and here as well it's faded out. Perfect. Cash it out. I'm not gonna drive it out now. There you go. Okay, and that's finished. So I've done a pretty big job, like with gearbox and everything. That's a serious job. So I guess we call this a day, and see you tomorrow with another challenge and another day. See you soon.